Good morning, good afternoon, whatever time it is. It's morning right now for me, and it's cold. It's like 16 degrees. There are two episodes, well, one episode of the podcast. It's a two-parter getting ready to come up. This is far and away my favorite one I've done, especially the second part of this podcast. I don't know what to post first, them or this video, but this is pertaining to the episode. Like I said, it's going to be a two-parter. The first part is about getting back on social media after my hiatus and trying to advertise for the show and just being back on social media in general. The second part is called "You Are the Algorithm," and it kind of talks about how social media is structured and what they do to kind of get listeners and to direct content at certain people, what they use for advertising and things that advertising plays a big role in. Like I said, especially the second part of that video is really, one of my favorite podcasts I've done, one of my favorite subjects. It's just something I'd like to revisit with a panel of people and really sit down and try to discuss it. That way there's multiple opinions on it besides mine. There was a lot of issue in recording this one. Part one, the sound is not great at all, and so I thought about recording it again. I'm going to tell you the reason I didn't. I found that the more I stay engaged and the more stuff like I can put out on a pretty consistent basis, the more people interact. The problem was I got a little over a quarter of the way through, had an issue with the recording, lost the recording. I got about 3/4 of the way through, got a phone call, lost the recording. So, I done it the first time. I didn't really count it because, like I said, it was quick. But the second time, I was really into it. So, the third time, if you count that first little short run, the third time was a little frustrating. I said, got a little flustered, said some things kind of a way I didn't want to phrase them. But being that I think it still got the point across, the problem is it ends very abruptly. It's because I got cut off, but I was able to save the audio this time. The second part explains what happened in the first part, and I think really buttons up the first part well, and then I really get into the meat of what I wanted to talk about in that second part anyway. And to me, the second part is a really good a really good representation of what I wanted to get across with the podcast. So just in case some people look at this before they look at that, or if you've listened to that first, you're like, well, this stopped it abruptly and it was bad. I know. I've got to do something with the recording. A lot of times I'm up really early in the morning, 5:30 in the morning, and I'll have to sit and wait for something, wait to meet somebody from work or something. So I'm sitting in my truck and I'm sitting close to traffic and recording with the headset, and for some reason the headset's popping and cracking on me just during that time, and it's picking up a lot of the vehicle noise. But if I'm got the vehicle off and it doesn't seem to do that. Like I said, it's 16 degrees today, so I've got maybe 20 minutes I'm going to get to sit in the vehicle and warm up a little bit. So I was going to do this video real quick. This morning it wasn't an option to not have the heat running. It was cold. So I'm working on that audio. It's a work in progress. And I had some issues with recording, but I think all in all, it's a good episode. So I'll probably do a YouTube video, kind of condensed version of it, because I like these. For some reason, people treat it as it is a different medium. It's video instead of just purely audio. I don't see any real significant quality improvement of it being video. They're shorter generally, but a couple people have said, they would watch a video more than they would listen to a podcast on YouTube. And I can understand that, but you don't have to listen to the podcast on YouTube. Most people aren't. I don't think very many people are at all. Actually, there's very few views on the actual podcast videos. So I think most of the views I'm getting are actually coming from iTunes, which I expected that. They're the predominant one. Google seems to be coming in there right around pretty close. You know, I've never listened to a podcast on Google, so I don't know how that works, but it must be a fairly good layout. Spreaker is not really getting a whole lot of attention as far as, you know, me getting listens there, but I don't know. I wanted to explain that episode to you and kind of what happened there, and that's the easiest way for me to do it. I thought about going back and just kind of editing in a little explanation. I don't do good with that audio. I'm doing 90% of this when it's just me on my phone. So, and usually with a headset like this. I even do the videos with the headset sometimes, because sometimes it feels like I get better sound with it. Sometimes I don't. But this mic is got a back-facing and front-facing section, and I think that's where the vehicle noise is coming from, and it's kind of amplifying it. And with the phone set up, I've currently got, I don't have a lot of adjustment room. So check out the two episodes, the two-part episode on going back to social media, and you know, I talk about the algorithms. I talk about a lot of different things, and I really, it's probably my favorite episode I've done so far. But like, share, comment, do whatever you can, help me out, and help me get enough people to where I can justify doing this at the rate I'm doing it, and putting the amount of work I'm into it. Help me get to that number, and then I can get off social media. I don't have to be on there. But have a great day. Thanks everybody that does listen, and like, subscribe, and share. And if you live somewhere that is 16 degrees today, stay out of that cold, because it is miserable.